Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Yevamot page 114, which discusses the question whether or not if you have a child who is not yet the age of majority, not yet bar mitzvah, and that individual is eating the velot, eating non-kosher, whether or not the Beit Din, the courts, have to step up and stop them from doing so. And it began by telling us a story where there was a set of keys that were needed in order to be able to open up the study hall, the Beit Midrash, but they were in the middle of the street on Shabbat, and there was no Eruv. So, according to Rabbi Padat, he encouraged that children should just randomly play in that area, and they'll probably just end up finding these keys and bringing them to us, which is kind of hard to imagine because they are going to end up violating the Shabbat. And it's derived from here, again, the possibility that we will allow children to do certain things which adults are not allowed to do, and we're not going to step up and tell them to stop, especially in the situation where these keys were of an absolute necessity. Furthermore, the Talmud discusses the prohibition of eating blood. Not only is an adult not allowed to eat blood, also an adult is not allowed to directly feed a child blood. Not that a person would really want to, but this is an actual prohibition in the Torah. Furthermore, when it comes to eating non-kosher food, you're not allowed to actually hand and feed with your own hands a child non-kosher food. The question again is, do we stop them if they're doing it on their own? Lastly, the Talmud talks about a situation where you have a child who's a Kohen. Again, the question is, if we see that they are becoming impure, do we stop them? Or is it only that we don't actually go out of the way and be odayim with our own hands, say, become impure? But nonetheless, we see from here this important message that when it comes to a child, of course, they are supposed to adhere to the Torah and do the mitzvot. However, it is certainly not on the same level as someone who has reached the age of majority of bar mitzvah, in which it's an actual Torah obligation to follow these laws. And certainly in that case, if we would see them doing something wrong, we would stop them. And of course, this is something we could derive in our own lives as well, beyond just seeing someone violating a Torah prohibition. If we see our child or we see someone that we know can be influenced in a positive way, do we say nothing? Do we remain silent? Certainly, it's important for us to encourage people to do the right thing, especially when it comes to children, so that this way they'll end up learning from us and doing the right thing as a young person, and then ultimately knowing what's right to do for the rest of their lives.